If you're here, my guess is you probably have a toddler or a young child and you are at your wit's end. Because one moment your child is all cute, adorable, like an angel, but the next moment they are on the floor screaming, leaving you feeling overwhelmed, confused, and frustrated. If this sounds like you, and if you are 100% committed to handling your child's tantrums without losing yourself in the process, then I encourage you to watch this video until the very end. Because in this video, we are going to talk about what tantrums really are from a brain development perspective, why they happen in the first place, and most importantly, what can you do to prevent and manage tantrums while staying cool as a cucumber. Hi there, I'm Grace. Welcome to my channel. Today, let's talk all about tantrums. What are tantrums? Why they happen in the first place? What are the different types of tantrums? How can you prevent and manage tantrums? And what are the things that you can avoid? And as we go through this video, I'm going to give you some powerful tantrum prevention and tantrum management tools that you can start using right from today to see amazing results with your child. Anyway, let's begin by talking about what is a tantrum from a brain development perspective? So tantrums are nothing but an intense outburst of emotions that are expressed through one's body. It might look like crying, hitting, biting, rolling on the floor, screaming. Even though tantrums are quite popular during the toddler years, we all throw tantrums once in a while. Let me give you some examples. How many times have you banged the dishes because you were mad at your partner? How many times have you slammed the door because you were frustrated with your mother-in-law? So we all express emotions through our body, but toddlers do it more often. And we'll talk about why it is so in a bit. But anyway, as intense as it might seem, here are 3 facts that I want you to remember. And trust me, reminding yourself of these 3 facts will help you not only prevent but manage tantrums efficiently. The first fact that I want you to remember is tantrums are developmentally normal. If your child is throwing a tantrum, there's nothing wrong with your child. There's nothing wrong with the way you're parenting. Tantrums are developmentally normal, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the brain. Now, the second fact that I want you to remember is you cannot eradicate tantrums completely, because I just told you it's developmentally normal. We all express emotions through our body once in a while. However, what you can do is reduce the intensity of a tantrum, the duration of a tantrum, and the frequency of a tantrum using the tools that we will be talking about in today's video. So let's say that when your child is throwing a tantrum, they're extremely loud, they get really physical, they hurt you, they are biting you, they're hitting you, they're rolling on the floor. Well, you can reduce the intensity by helping them just, cry and not get physical. By reducing the duration, let's say that your child is crying nonstop for like 20-30 minutes. Well, now you can reduce it to 5 minutes. And regarding the frequency, let's say that your child throws tantrums multiple times a day. Well, now you can reduce it to 1 tantrum a day, or 1 tantrum per week, or 1 tantrum per month. Anyway, let's move on to the third fact that I want you to remember. Knowing why tantrums occur in the first place would help you handle tantrums with confidence and not get confused or losing yourself in the process. Just remember these 3 things. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is why tantrums happen in the first place. You see, unlike you and me, a child's brain is still under construction. Important parts of the brain have not developed yet. Knowing this is foundational. Anyway, there are many ways to explain how the human brain works. But in this video, just to make things really simple, I want to take The Triune Brain by Paul MacLean. You see, according to Paul MacLean, the human brain can be divided into 3 parts. One is called the lizard brain. This is the part of the brain that we share with lizards and other reptiles. The other is the mammal brain. And this is the part of the brain that we share with other mammals like dogs, cats. And the third is the human brain. And this part of the brain is very special because it is the most evolved part of the brain that makes us humans. You see, the primary function of the lizard brain is to ensure survival. So it is responsible for basic survival instincts like breathing, heartbeat, digestion. I mean, how many of us have control over these body functions, right? I mean, we don't. They are responsible for survival. So these things happen automatically. Now, apart from these functions, well, the lizard brain is also responsible for something called fight, flight, freeze response. And this response keeps us safe. It's there for a reason. But because the lizard brain is primitive, sometimes it messes things up. It does not know what is a real danger, what is a perceived danger. So I'll come back to this in a bit. Now let's move on to the second part of the brain, which is the mammal brain. So this part of the brain is associated with emotions and memories and other things. Now the third part of the brain is called the human brain. Well, this brain is responsible for logic, reasoning, language, higher order thinking. You see, when babies are born, they're born with the lizard brain and the mammal brain. Well, the human brain is something that develops over time. Let me explain. You see, when babies are born, they have little or no information about the world around them, right? The first 3 years is spent gathering useful information about the world. And also, they learn a language to express themselves, to make sense of the things around. So when they experience big emotions such as anger, frustration, or sadness, because they have the mammal part of the brain, you see, well, they cannot use the human part of the brain, like you and me, to access language or logic to make sense of things. Instead, the lizard brain kicks in because it assumes that there is danger in the environment, and that is why the child is experiencing big emotions. And so it triggers the fight, flight, freeze response, which is our body's automatic response to danger. Now, let me give you some examples so all these things make sense to you. So let's say that you have a toddler. You take your child to the grocery store for shopping and they want candies every single time. You say no, there you go, there is another tantrum. Now, why do you think this happens? I want you to pause this video and think about it. I hope you thought about it. You see, when you say no, your child genuinely does not have enough information in their brain yet to understand why eating lots of candy is bad for them. Instead, what do they experience? Anger, because you are saying no for the most part. So now they're sitting with lots of anger and frustration. And now what does it do? Well, it triggers the fight, flight, freeze response. And there you go, they roll on the floor and scream. They express those big emotions through their body. And that is what a tantrum is all about. So remember, expecting a toddler to handle their big emotions every time is like expecting someone who is physically challenged to stand up and walk. Of course, they can walk when you give them the tools needed to support. But if you just like that, ask them to get up and walk, they simply cannot. So it is all on us to give them the tools needed and help them navigate through those big emotions. It is all on us to be loving and empathetic as they experience those big emotions, because that is how they can learn to manage their emotions efficiently. Now let's talk about two major triggers or two major situations during which tantrums occur. Learning about it is crucial because it'll help you to predict a tantrum so you can prevent a tantrum. Well, the first type of tantrum is the physical needs tantrum. This is when your child's physical needs are not met. Like your child is hungry, sleepy, tired, overstimulated, like a meltdown at the end of a long day. Now, the second type of tantrum is called the emotional needs tantrum, something that many parents are not aware of it. They are aware of the physical needs tantrum and they do their best to take care of it. But trust me when I say this, when you're aware of the emotional needs tantrum, you can prevent most of the tantrums that you might be experiencing. Now, why is it? You see, there are two primary emotional needs that your child has, whether your child is a toddler or you have an older child too. It really doesn't matter. Mother Nature has given us two primary emotional needs. One is the need for control or power, and the other is the need to feel connected. If these two human needs or emotional needs are not met, well, now you see a lot of tantrums, power struggles, defiance, and whatnot. I would be doing a video on this channel shortly. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and do so. I promise that video would be an eye opener. Anyway, let's talk about the need for control first. How often do we say no to a toddler? And of course, there is a reason behind it because we want to keep them safe. But when we say no, we literally strip them of the need for power and they feel powerless. And now what do? They roll on the floor and scream. Or let's say that your toddler wants to wear their shoes by themselves, but they're physically not ready yet to wear shoes by themselves. Now that can cause frustration. And there you go, you experience another tantrum. Now, the other thing as well, during transitions, right? When you stop one thing and start with the other thing, stop playing because it's time for nap. Say bye to the park and leave home for dinner. Well, during transitions, you might experience a tantrum because they want to continue doing something while you are setting a boundary to stop whatever they are doing and start with the other thing. So these are some examples during which you would experience a tantrum. And trust me, I'm going to give you a tool in this video that you can use so you can prevent these challenges. Now, the second type of need is the need for connection. Of course, we love our toddlers and young children dearly. We'll do anything for them. We'll take a bullet for them. But if we don't show it to them through our time, through our words, now you can experience a lot of tantrums because they are not feeling connected with you. For anything and everything, your child would be rolling on the floor and crying. Anyway, remember these two types of tantrums. Keep in mind those two emotional needs. Again, I will be doing a video on this channel shortly. So be sure to subscribe and also hit the bell icon so you get notified when I upload that video. Anyway, before I give you the tools to prevent and manage tantrums, let's talk about some common mistakes that parents do and why it is important that you need to avoid making those mistakes. So the first mistake that parents do is they try to stop tantrums. So whether the child is about to throw a tantrum or is in the middle of throwing a tantrum, most of the times, most parents, they reach out to inefficient tools like threatening, bribing, begging, yelling, spanking to stop a tantrum. But all these things are so inefficient that they don't help. Like if you are guilty of using these tools, like pause this video and tell me how efficient were they? When you ask your child to shut up, when you raise your voice, well, your child screams louder. Isn't it true? So when you're reaching out to these inefficient tools, well, you are not empowering your child to develop the tools to manage their emotions effectively. Instead, there is disconnection, which means that their emotional need to feel connected is not met. So things are only going to escalate. Maybe sometimes it might seem to end in the moment, but it's going to come more often in the future. Now, the second major mistake that parents do is give in. So let's say that you're taking your child to the grocery store and your child is asking for a candy and you don't want to get it because you know it's not good for your child to eat lots of candy. But you know that when you say no, your child is going to throw a tantrum. You can sense it erupting. Or let's say you said no and your child is crying. Now you feel that everyone around is judging. You're feeling, frustrated. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling stressed out. And so you're saying, hey, you know what? That's okay. I'll get you a candy. Don't cry. Now pause this video and reflect on what you just did. What did you help that brain of your child learn? Because let me remind you that your child has a working brain, which is constantly learning, especially during the early years. It has little or no information about the world around, so it spends most of the time gathering information so it can make sense of the world. So if you said no to stop a tantrum, your child's brain will learn that, hey, you know what? If I cry, I can get what I want. And so the next time around, your child is going to scream louder and even longer until you give them what they want. Because who taught that in the first place? It is we. We are guilty for teaching our children to throw a tantrum for what they want. Anyway, the third mistake that parents do is toxic positivity. Oh, That's okay. Nothing. Don't cry. It is okay. Nothing happened. Well, if your child is throwing a tantrum, well, don't confuse them. Because remember, we spoke about the underdeveloped brain. Well, your child would be able to handle things efficiently, handle their emotions efficiently, only when they understand what's happening inside the body and what's happening outside. But if you're distracting, when you just want your child to be happy, well, you are depriving your child of a very, very important thing, which is to learn about their emotions, learn about their experience, and have better responses in the future. I hope this makes sense. All right, now that we spoke about what is a tantrum, why it happens in the first place, and what are the different types of tantrums, and the common mistakes that parents do and how you can avoid it, let's talk about what you can do with respect to tantrums. Well, there are two things that you can do. Number one is you can prevent a tantrum. So before it could erupt, how can you contain it or how can you de-escalate? Now, the second thing is manage a tantrum. Once it erupted like a volcano, what can you do to minimize the intensity, duration, and the aftermath of a tantrum? So let's first talk about how to prevent a tantrum. Before I give you the tools that you can start using right from today, there are two P's that I want you to remember with respect to preventing a tantrum, and they are being proactive. You see, whether it's tantrums or parenting in general, being proactive is the name of the game. So when it comes to being proactive, starting with the brain and mind is a major, major thing. When you can understand your child's developing brain and how it influences your child's behavior, now you can do something about it. But when you are oblivious to the fact as to how the brain functions, how it develops, how it influences your child's brain, now you'd feel confused, overwhelmed, and frustrated. So start with understanding. And the second thing is invest time to learn positive parenting tools. So that way you don't reach out to inefficient tools that would only make things worse. Now, the second thing is meet your child's needs, both physical and emotional. Remember, we spoke about them a while ago. So tantrums primarily occur when a child's basic needs are not met, both physical and emotional. Again, I'll give you some tools as to how to meet your child's needs. Now, the third thing is take time to teach your child, because remember, when your child is born, your child has little or no information about the world around them. And they have little or no access to language. They have little or no understanding about their emotions. So it's important as their primary caregivers that we take time away to teach them, to train them. So that way we can give them the tools, the knowledge, and the support needed to handle things better. Now, the second thing with respect to preventing a tantrum is to learn how to predict a tantrum. See, if you can predict it, you are more likely to prevent it. So prediction is a skill that you need to develop. It's like a muscle. The more you work out, the better it gets. So if you can predict a tantrum, well, you know what tools to use to de-escalate the situation, to really diffuse the situation and help your child calm down before your child can hit 10. Now, as promised, here are 5 simple and powerful tantrum prevention tools from our Positive Discipline Toolkit course that you can start using today. You see, the first tool is called HTTS checklist. You see, for the most part, a child throws tantrums simply because they are hungry, they have not had enough sleep, they are tired, maybe because of that excessive physical activity, or they skipped a nap, or they were in a noisy place, or they had a lot of screen time and they're overstimulated. So when you sense a tantrum erupting, if you can use this checklist, is my child hungry? If the answer is yes, get them a snack. Well, you can diffuse that situation easily. The same goes with us, right? If we've had a long day or if we've not had our lunch and we're feeling hungry, the chances of us feeling irritable, snapping at people is high, right? The same goes with kids. So be sure to use this checklist when you sense a tantrum about to erupt, because you can diffuse it before it could erupt. Now, the second tool is what I call power pills. You see, children are born with free will. They're here to do their own thing. And the irony is, they are not even aware of it. But that is how Mother Nature has designed them to be. Especially during the first few years of life, they have little information about the world, and the brain is busy collecting that information. And so they want to explore, they want to do their own thing. But as their primary caretakers, it is our responsibility to keep them safe. It is our responsibility to get them to do the right thing. They don't want to brush their teeth, but can we let them go? No, we have to get them to brush their teeth. But what if they don't want to brush their teeth? Well, now there is a power struggle, which leads to tantrums. So this simple tool helps you give that power back to the child. Instead of you calling out all the shots, you telling your child what you're supposed to do. You work with Mother Nature, understanding that your child is an independent being born with free will. They want to do their own thing. Instead of you calling out all the shots, well, you give the power back to their child. You give control over those simple things in their life so they feel powerful and they readily respond to you. So how do you use this tool? Whenever possible, give choices. Do you want to sit on the stool to wear your shoes, or do you want to sit on the floor to wear your shoes? Do you want me to carry you to the bathroom, or do you want me to chase you to the bathroom? Of course, you need to wear your creative hats to come up with creative choices. But trust me, this would reduce a lot of power struggles that would eventually culminate to tantrums. Now, the third tool that I have for you is called Highlight the S. You see, oftentimes we tell our toddlers and young children and even older kids what they're not supposed to do. And it literally robs them of the need for power. Like nobody wants to be bossed around, right? How would you feel when someone is always ordering you, correcting you, directing you, telling you what you're supposed to do, what not to do? That would be really frustrating. But that is what we do to our toddlers and young children unintentionally and unconsciously. According to research, an average toddler hears the word no nearly 350 to 400 times in a day. Just imagine someone constantly telling no, 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 no to everything you do. Won't it be frustrating? Won't it be stressful? Won't it be annoying and irritating? That's exactly how our toddlers feel. Anyway, instead of saying no, how can you turn a no into an S? For example, your child is asking for a candy. Instead of saying no candy, how can you turn it into an S? Pause this video and think about it. I hope you thought about it. So instead of saying no candy and going on a rant as to why candy is not good in the moment, well, you can simply tell your child when they can have candy, maybe on their birthday. So here is something that you can say. I understand you want to have candy. Of course, you can have candy on your birthday. That is it. And again, turning your nose into an S would not come automatically if you are like me, someone who's so used to saying no all the time. And most of us as parents, we are guilty of doing that. So moving forward, I want you to observe yourself and see how you are framing your words. How many no's are you telling in a day? And be intentional in turning your nose into an S, just like the example I just gave you. And trust me, for the most part, you would get your child's cooperation instead of triggering their fight, flight, freeze response. Now, the fourth tool that I have for you is called Get Near and Down at Eye Level. This is a simple and a powerful tool, and I want you to start using right from today. So, anytime you want to give instructions to your child, you want to get your child's cooperation, or simply you want to talk to your child instead of doing that from afar, well, get near your child and down to their eye level. Why is that? You see, even in the animal kingdom, you witness it, right? Like when an animal enters a new territory, what does it do? Like a dog or even lion, what does it do? To convey that they come in peace, they are not a threat, they're not here to fight. They get down, they really stoop low. And they walk really slow. Why? To convince that they are friends here. They're coming in peace. And I want you to do the same, because if you're at a distance and even if your intention is not to alert your child, well, you would have to use a loud voice, right? And not only that, our children know that we are always stronger than them, bigger than them, and more wiser than them. And that by itself leaves them feeling powerless. Remember the need for power, which is a primary emotional need that I told you earlier. Well, when they're feeling powerless, that you are that big person always trying to order them, trying to correct them, trying to boss over them, the chances of them trying to use their power and not cooperate with you is high. But when you get to their level, well, you are at the same level. And when you make that eye contact, and here's a simple tip, place a hand on their shoulder or rub their back when you're giving instructions, when you know that your child otherwise might not listen to you. But when you make that physical connection, you're reinstating that connection with your child. And remember, I told you, connection is another primary emotional need. So now when you're at their level, you're using a calm voice and you're making a request and you're giving that connection. You tell me, how likely is it that your toddler would listen to you? Well, most of the times, right? So don't forget this powerful tip. Use it. Now, the fifth tool that I have for you that will help you prevent tantrums is called one-to-one connection ritual. And this is a biggie. I told you that feeling connected with you is a primary emotional need for your child. If your child is not feeling connected with you, well, they would do anything to get that connection back. And when they're not feeling connected, I can tell you that they will 100% outright defy you. They will not listen to you. So even though you adore your toddler, you love them to the core, well, it is important that you take time away from your busy life to spend that one-to-one time with your child. At least for 5-10 minutes every day. No distractions, no phones, no thinking of something, no teaching your child. Simply getting on the floor and playing with your child, belly laughing with your child, being silly around your child, and telling them how much they mean to you, how much you love them. You have to be verbal. You have to invest your time in being intentional, in connecting with your child. Your love is not enough. Your time is necessary. Your words matter so much. So make it a point that moving forward, you set aside at least 10 minutes a day to have this one-on-one time with your child. Make it a ritual, not a routine. A ritual is something that you do religiously, no matter what, right? You don't give up because you truly believe that your life depends on it. And I want you to think that your parenting depends on this one-to-one time that you give your child. So those are the 5 powerful tantrum prevention tools that I have for you. And of course, there are other tools that you can use as well, something that I teach inside our Genius Nurturers Positive Parenting Blueprint course. So if you're someone who needs more help and you are ready to replace those inefficient parenting tools that you have in your parenting toolkit with more empowering tools that would serve you for the rest of your parenting journey, then you can check out our program. All the details are in the description below. Now let's move on to our tantrum management toolkit. So when it comes to managing a tantrum, meaning your child is in the middle of a tantrum, what can you do? Here are 2 C's that I want you to remember. Well, one is to connect with your child. And the second one is to help them calm down. A common mistake that parents do is, well, use that moment to teach the child, lecture the child. Well, it is of no use. They are in a survival mode. They cannot use logic. As it is, they don't have access to logic because they have little or no information about the world around. They have little or no access to language. So using that moment to lecture, to explain stuff, it only escalates the tantrum. It only intensifies the situation. So during a tantrum, use minimal words. Don't explain, don't lecture, don't teach. It's not the moment to teach. All the teaching and reflection can come later once your child has calmed down, but not when your child is in the middle of a tantrum. Anyway, I have nearly 5 tools for you. The first tool is a calm face, voice, and body. Very, very important. Why? Because when you are irritated, when you're frustrated, you cannot help your child calm down. You have to be calm in order for your child to calm down. And let me also remind you, during the first few years of life, children are right brain dominant, meaning the right brain is responsible for processing nonverbal cues, which means that they are very sensitive to those nonverbal cues, your tone of voice, your facial expression, your body language. Are you doing this? Are you having your hands on your hips? That conveys that you're angry, you're agitated, you're frustrated, and that is not going to help your child calm down. But when you have a calm body, calm face, and calm voice, well, it's easy for you to help your child calm down. So that way you can minimize the intensity and duration of a tantrum. So to help you have a calm face, voice, and body, I'm going to give you another powerful tool. And trust me, this is like a magic. And this is from our magic toolkit in our positive parenting blueprint program. So it's called the Magic A Wand. And A stands for affirmations. I'm a huge fan of affirmations. Why? Because it really helps us reprogram our brain, our beliefs, our thoughts, and our emotions so we can influence our responses, our behavior. So when your child is giving you a hard time, I want you to wave this magic A wand to help you snap out of that narrative that's running in your head. And before I tell you what it is, I want you to pause this video and think of what are the thoughts that you're having every time your child is giving you a hard time, every time your toddler is throwing a tantrum. And you would be surprised to notice that most of the times your thoughts are repeated, they are negative and they are the same. You might be telling yourself, I'm a bad parent, or you might be telling yourself, my child is not always listening to me, always giving me a hard time. What's wrong with my child? I want you to make a note of it because, see, you can watch this video and whatever you're learning might make complete sense to you. But if you're not acting on what you're learning, chances are you'll go back. And even though these tools that I gave you are super powerful, you will not use them because you would run on autopilot. You would be responding to your child the same way, and your child would be responding to you the same way. And the same challenge would continue. And that is why I asked you at the beginning of this video, if you're 100% committed. If you're 100% committed, do this little exercise, do this reflection. So you are aware as to what's going on inside you, because what's going on inside you influences your child's behavior, your child's tantrum. And the intensity and the duration of your child's tantrum depends on what's going on inside you. Anyway, I hope you did this reflection exercise. Now, this affirmation that I'm going to give you, I want you to repeat that affirmation and practice it right now so you can use it when your child is giving you a hard time. And ready for the magic affirmation? Here you go. My child is not giving me a hard time. My child is having a hard time. And it is my responsibility to help them through this challenging moment. Now imagine that picture that I showed you earlier. Keep that in your mind. Your child literally does not have tools in the brain to manage their emotions. And when they are throwing a tantrum, it is not to give you a hard time, but they themselves are scared of what's happening inside their body. Why they are throwing, they have no idea because they have little or no understanding of emotions. They have little or no access to language. They have little or no understanding about the world around. So everything is scary for them. And now, if you are standing there yelling at them, threatening them, punishing them, just imagine, how scary it can feel for them. The person who they love the most, who is their safe space, is not understanding them, is so rude to them, is yelling at them, is trying to hurt them physically or even verbally. And that is a very, very scary place to be in for a toddler. Now, if you have made poor choices in the past, don't go on a guilt trip. We've all made mistakes. You did it because you were not aware of what was going on inside your child's brain. You were not aware of these tools. But now that you know why tantrums happen in the first place and you're learning these powerful tools, well, it is a choice that you can make to respond differently with more love and empathy to your child the next time they throw a tantrum. Now, the third tool is name and okay it. What do I mean by that? You see, I told you earlier that your child has little or no understanding about emotions, and it is our responsibility to teach them, right? So use less words to name what your child is feeling and okay the feeling. So here is an example. If your child is feeling upset that they cannot get the candy, what would you do? Simply name that feeling and okay that feeling. I see that you're upset because you cannot get candy right now. It is okay to be upset. Now, why are you doing that? Here are two reasons why. Number one is you are using language to help your child understand what's going on inside them, understand emotions. And the second thing that you're doing is you're okaying the emotion. You see, as human beings, we experience a wide range of emotions from the day we are born until the day we die. It makes us human, right? There's nothing wrong with having big emotions and feelings, it makes us human. It is what we do when we experience those big emotions that makes all the difference. Are we throwing? Are we yelling? Are we biting? Well, that matters, not the emotion itself. Now, the next tool that I have for you is called Connect and Calm Down. You see, when your child is throwing a tantrum, it's too scary for a young child. So when you connect with them, you give them a hug, you tell them, hey, you know what? Let me help you calm down. Let me sit with you. Let me give you a hug. Let me hold you. When you give that physical closeness or that connection, now the brain feels safe, and so it turns off the fight, flight, freeze response and gets ready to calm down. Again, in our positive parenting blueprint course, I teach a powerful technique called the breathe technique to manage tantrums. But I can guarantee if you start using these 4 tools during a tantrum, for the most part, you can reduce the intensity and the duration of a tantrum, and you can help your child calm down easily. So there you go. That is how you prevent and manage a tantrum. And trust me, the tools that you've learned in this video are super powerful, but learning them will not help you prevent nor manage a tantrum. Only implementing those tools would. So please set an intention right now as you're watching this video to implement what you've learned, because that is what's going to help you reduce the intensity and duration of a tantrum and also the frequency of a tantrum. With that said, I hope you found this video useful. If you need more help in your parenting journey, if you want to upgrade your parenting toolkit, because right now you have only inefficient tools like yelling, bribing, threatening, spanking, and punishing, timeouts, only those in your parenting toolkit, and you're ready to upgrade your parenting toolkit so you are intentional in how you communicate with your child, connect with your child, and discipline your child to not only get cooperation, but build that connection and teach important life lessons, then I invite you to check out a Genius Nurturer's Positive Parenting Blueprint program. Again, all the details are in the description below. Apart from this, I also do free trainings and workshops. So if you want to be a part of any of my trainings that would be happening frequently, then check the description for the details. With that said, I thank you so much for investing your time to watch this video. I sincerely hope you found it useful. If you did, show me some love by liking this video and share it with a friend who might benefit from this video. And don't forget to subscribe because I post videos every week. With that said, you take care, and I wish you all the very best in preventing and managing tantrums. Take care, and I'll see you soon.